Hey there. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you're subject backward and forward, you've got the facts, the insights, maybe even this brilliant idea,
Mm-hmm.
but when you actually have to speak it out loud, something just, it doesn't connect.
Yeah, maybe you feel awkward or you stumble a bit.
Right. Like your message isn't landing, and then someone gives you that totally unhelpful advice, like just relax.
Oh, yeah. Or the classic, just stop saying if.
Exactly. And the source we're digging into today, the book Don't Say, um, it hits on this right at the beginning. It explains how that kind of negative feedback actually triggers something called thought suppression.
Which, kind of bizarrely, can make the very problem you're trying to fix even worse.
Yeah, think about trying to circle all the Y's and Z's on a page without seeing the X's. It's impossible.
You have to register the X's first to then consciously ignore them. Your brain is forced to engage with the thing you want to avoid.
And that applies directly to communication habits. If you're constantly telling yourself, don't be nervous, or don't say, um,
Your internal monitor is basically scanning for nervous and making you hyper aware of them.
and potentially increasing the likelihood they'll pop up. It's counterproductive.
Totally.
Right. So this deep dive is not about the content, what you say. We're focusing entirely on the how, the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And here's something the book claims that really surprised me.
Yeah.
It doesn't just say delivery matters as much as content.
It actually argues it often matters more.
Yeah. What's thinking there?
Well, that was a big takeaway for me, too. The book posits this virtuous cycle.
Okay.
When you improve your physical delivery through specific techniques, it gives your brain more time and space, literally more oxygen to select better words.
Oh.
And better words lead to clearer thoughts, which builds confidence, and that confidence further enhances your delivery. It's like this powerful loop.
The book uses the example of Andrew Yang's 2020 presidential campaign. Remember his early debates?
Vaguely, yeah. He spoke really fast.
Fastest speaker, least airtime, gave like a one-word answer to a huge question. His campaign was kind of struggling.
Okay.
But after working with the author of this book, specifically on his delivery, focusing on the how,
His subsequent debates saw a dramatic improvement.
right, his stakes were obviously huge.
Hmm.
But, you have important communication moments too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe it's a crucial meeting, a job interview.
Or trying to persuade someone, or even just explaining something complex to a colleague.
The stakes might not be running the country, but they matter immensely to you.
Totally. It also shares this story of a brilliant sociologist, PhD and all, incredible content in her field.
But she struggled to get a job. People just weren't taking her seriously.
And it wasn't until she focused on improving her delivery that her career prospects changed completely.
Wow. It really highlights that just having the knowledge isn't enough. You have to be able to embody it, communicate it effectively.
And what's cool about this source is its unconventional approach. It completely bypasses that frustrating, vague, just advice.
Yeah, no more just relax.
Instead, it treats communication like learning a sport or a musical instrument. It focuses on kinesthetic, physical techniques, and specific drills,
It's about doing differently, not just thinking differently.
which makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Communication involves your physical instrument, your body, your voice, your breath.
Right. You wouldn't train for a marathon by just reading about running or learn piano by just, studying sheet music. You have to physically practice.
Absolutely. So our mission for this deep dive is to extract the most actionable, important nuggets from Don't Say about these physical delivery-focused techniques.
We want to give you the practical tools you can start experimenting with right away to become a more effective communicator.
Yeah, to be the best advocate for your own ideas.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So diving deeper into that problem, why does the don't advice fail? We talked about thought suppression with the letter example.
Right. Trying not to say means your brain has to keep front and center just to avoid it.
And the source makes a crucial point. Many common speaking habits, mumbling, speaking in a monotone, even saying a lot.
They aren't inherent flaws in you as a person. They're often habits we've picked up over time, maybe adaptations or even defense mechanisms.
Ugh.
The book argues our truly natural state, like a baby who can cry all night without getting hoarse, is actually far more expressive and physically free.
We've just lost some of that natural, efficient.
Right. The book gives simple examples. Plug your nose and talk.
Your voice changes immediately.
Or gently pound your chest. The sound changes because you've altered the physical structure producing it.
This is why purely mental adjustments often fall short. for physical activities like speaking. You can't just think your way to better delivery.
Makes sense.
Okay, so if thinking about it doesn't work, what does the book suggest?
It focuses on something called kinesthetic drills, right?
That's the core, yeah.
What does that mean exactly, and why is that the key?
Well, that's where the physical aspect comes in. The book argues you have to do differently, not just think differently.
Okay.
Kinesthetic drills are physical exercises designed to retrain your body, your physical instrument, through repetition and actually doing the desired behavior out loud.
So, active practice, like practicing scales on a piano or drills on a sports field.
Exactly. Not just thinking about it.
And a key tool it emphasizes, one literally everyone has, is your smartphone, to record yourself. Right. The book is clear that most people resist this. I mean, who likes watching themselves on video?
Uh-huh. But it's invaluable because it shows you what you actually do.
It talks about recording yourself normally, video 1, and then again after doing some of these physical drills, video 2.
And people are often surprised by the difference, right? Revealing habits they didn't even know they had.
Totally. It shows you the gap between your intention or your perception and the reality of your physical delivery.
And, like any physical skill, improvement comes with practice.
Definitely. The book suggests aiming for consistent practice, even 5 days a week if possible, adapting the drills to your specific situation.
Like the example it gives of stance drills. You might initially picture someone standing.
But the principles of intentional movement and stillness can be adapted. For someone who uses a wheelchair, for example.
Oh, so.
It might involve practicing anchoring points by deliberately moving the chair to emphasize different ideas in space, much like a professor might walk to different sections of a whiteboard.
Got it. So the principles are universal. The physical execution can be adapted.
Precisely.
Okay, let's dive into some of these specific kinesthetic drills for common communication challenges.
Yeah.
First up, conciseness.
Ah, the rambling problem.
Yeah, something many people get feedback on. The goal isn't just to talk less, but to say more in fewer words, and critically, to learn to pause.
Right, the pause is key. The drill for this is the GK Lego drill.
GK Lego drill.
Yeah, but you can use paper pieces or even sticky notes too. The core mechanic is simple. Speak one complete thought per piece.
Okay, one thought.
And then, in silence, physically place that piece down between thoughts.
Ah, so the physical action forces the pause.
Exactly. It imposes structure, encourages brevity, and helps you land your sentences with finality instead of trailing off.
The Lego version is neat because the physical click of putting blocks together reinforces that silent moment between thoughts.
Yeah, it's a tangible reminder. Now, the source does note that initially you might feel a bit stiff doing this.
Like, less natural.
Maybe lose some of your usual vocal variety or humor because you're so focused on the mechanics. You might sound a bit robotic at first.
Huh, really? So you might sound worse before you sound better. How does the book address getting that naturalness back?
Good question. The source basically says you build the structure and the pausing first, get that foundation solid.
Okay.
Then you consciously layer the variety and expressiveness back in while maintaining the new structure. You don't lose the pause, you just make it sound more natural.
Got it. Build the foundation, then decorate.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
This physical act of placing the piece directly changes your communication pattern, starting that virtuous cycle we talked about earlier.
Okay, moving from pausing.
Mhm.
Another big one people struggle with is filler words. The ums, the likes, the you-knows.
Oh, yeah.
The book has a really specific take on this, doesn't it? It says filler isn't the problem.
Exactly. It calls it a symptom.
A symptom of what?
A lack of linguistic precision. The goal isn't just to eliminate the it's to be consciously in charge of the words you choose within a thought.
Linguistic precision. That doesn't mean using big fancy words, right?
Not at all. It just means using the words that you mean to use, the ones that accurately convey your thought.
The book says filler pops up when you're not actively choosing each word.
Right. And that includes conversational fluff too, like kinda, sorta, just, and little, which can dilute your message.
So what's the drill for this?
It's called finger walking.
Finger walking.
Yeah. You pick a topic that isn't something you'd normally speak about off the cuff, something that requires a little thought.
Okay, not like what you had for breakfast.
Exactly. And you speak while walking your fingers across a surface, like a table.
Right.
And here's the rule. If you don't know the next word, you must stop your fingers and your words until you choose it.
Wow. Okay. That physical constraint forces you to select each word deliberately,
Yeah, it buys your brain crucial thinking time within the sentence.
which naturally reduces filler because you're not just reflexively filling space while you figure out the next word.
Precisely. It starts as a very conscious drill, but the feeling can become more automatic.
Could you even adapt that for, say, a video call?
Totally. The book suggests you can do small finger movements just outside the camera frame to keep that physical connection going.
Cool. Okay, what about mumbling? Unclear speech.
Enunciation. The goal is simple. Make sure every word is intelligible.
And the source highlights how physical enunciation is.
Right, absolutely. It uses examples like onomatopoeia bell or snake, showing how the sound requires specific physical movements of the mouth and tongue.
So the drill sounds, well, it sounds a bit silly, but probably effective. The cork drill.
Ah, yeah. You place a wine cork or even the end of a toothbrush between your front teeth,
Okay.
and you speak, really exaggerating your lip movement to make yourself understood.
You'd have to with a cork in your mouth.
Exactly. You can record yourself or use your phone's voice-to-text function to check your clarity.
What does it actually force your mouth to do?
It absolutely forces dynamic articulation, makes you use your lips and tongue much more decisively.
The book encourages really going for it, right? Letting your lips come outside the cork for, sounds like P, B, and M.
Yeah, don't hold back. It feels ridiculous in practice, but the physical training translates into much clearer speech when the cork is gone.
But definitely a practice drill only. Don't show up to a meeting with a cork in your mouth.
Please don't. And the book suggests a good place to build this habit is while you're already doing something physical with your mouth, like brushing your teeth, just practice articulating around the brush.
Smart.
So we've talked about clarity and conciseness, but what about sounding, well, boring? The monotone problem.
Ah, yes. Vocal variety. The book links this back to that freezing thing we talked about, doesn't it? Like a bunny in headlights.
Exactly. Stress can inhibit the physical freedom you need for variety in pace, pause, power, pitch, and placement. The 5 keys, as the book calls them.
The goal being to use that range to be more engaging, trustworthy, and persuasive.
Right. And the primary drill here is called silent storytelling.
Silent storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You speak on a topic without making any sound.
like miming.
Sort of, but more like an exaggerated lip sync performance.
Okay.
You focus entirely on using your face, lips, and hands expressively, trying to communicate purely visually.
That sounds interesting. What does that achieve?
Well, this drill is fascinating because it forces you to create more space in your mouth and throat, exaggerate enunciation naturally.
And you'd have to build in pauses and breathe better because it takes more physical effort just to mouth the words expressively.
Exactly. And strangely, by taking the focus off your actual voice, it helps short-circuit that internal critic, that negative self-talk about how you sound.
Huh?
And what's often surprising is when people record this drill, they watch it back and find they actually prefer the expressive, soundless version of themselves they see.
Really?
Yeah. That physical freedom and expressiveness built in silence then translates directly into greater vocal variety and dynamism when you add the sound back.
And you can do this virtually? Just focus on being expressive in your little video box.
Yep. There's also an alternative or complementary drill using colored blocks or different sticky notes.
Okay.
You assign a color or note size to each unique thought you plan to express. As you speak a thought, you hold that specific object, and after you complete the thought, you physically place it down.
How does that help variety?
It provides a physical anchor that reminds you to give each distinct thought a unique vocal treatment, varying your pace, pitch, volume, whatever fits that thought.
Like a physical cue for a mental shift.
Exactly. And to see how you're doing with vocal variety visually, the book suggests using your phone's voice recorder and just looking at the sound wave. More variation means more dynamic peaks and valleys,
Yeah.
less flatlining.
Cool tip.
Mm.
Next up, ending thoughts with finality. This addresses issues like upward inflection or vocal fry.
Right, which often happen when people don't fully commit to finishing a sentence or thought. The goal is simply a sense of completion at the end.
And ending strongly has other benefits.
Oh yeah, a bunch. It gives you time to breathe and think about your next thought. It reinforces that conciseness from the Lego drill.
And it supports better breathing and the 5 Ps because you need air to reach the end of a sentence powerfully.
Exactly. The main drill here is ball throwing.
Throwing a ball.
Yeah. As you speak your content, you emphatically throw a ball, real or imaginary, on the very last word of each sentence or complete thought.
Okay.
And if you're specifically working on upward inflection, you consciously aim the throw downwards to counteract that rising tone.
That physical action of a throw creates a clear physical endpoint for your thought.
Builds muscle memory for finishing strong. You practice this exaggerated movement.
And then adapt it for performance using something subtle.
Exactly. A tiny finger tap or toe push aligned with that final word. A physical anchor you can actually use.
Is there an alternative?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sticky note drill for finality. Similar idea. Hold a sticky note while speaking a thought, and as you say the final word, you physically place the note down.
Again, tying the physical action precisely to the end word, reinforcing that sense of conclusion.
Right. The source also mentions a continuation drill, specifically for vocal fry, where you force yourself to say a few extra words after each thought. This specifically helps build the breath support needed to avoid running out of air at the end.
Ah, okay. And speaking of breath, that's next, right?
It is. And the source points out that most adults use far too little breath.
Why is that?
Often due to physical tension or just bad habits, baggage about breath, as the book puts it.
In not using enough air, it starves your brain.
Limits time and oxygen for smart thoughts, yeah. And starves your vocal cords like an engine running without oil. Makes everything harder.
So the goal isn't just to breathe, it's to, what was the phrase? Put air into action.
Yeah, to use your breath to actively reach your audience. This means reconnecting with natural diaphragmatic breathing.
Visualizing your lungs filling from the bottom up.
Like filling a balloon with water, expanding out to the sides and back, not just puffing up your chest.
So the drills focus on using more air volume consistently.
Right. The balloon drill is inflating a real or imaginary balloon with a slow, steady stream of air. Breathe in deeply through the nose. Keep the balloon steady as you exhale.
What is that force?
Using a larger volume of air and maintaining consistent airflow. That's fuel for your voice, provides energy, helps counter vocal fry.
And the cigarette drill.
Similar concept. Hold an imaginary cigarette and blow a steady stream of air to keep the imaginary ash from falling. Control and consistency.
Both are drills you practice physically, then integrate the feeling into performance without the prop.
Exactly. The point is having enough air and using it efficiently, not wasting it all in a gasp before you speak.
Makes sense. What about eye contact?
Yeah, big one. The problem is simple. Avoiding it makes the listener feel ignored, unheard, undervalued.
Even if you feel like making direct eye contact is too intense.
Right. The goal is to connect by visually checking that they're with you, that they understand.
And the drill involves throwing a ball again.
Yep. Ball throwing against a wall target this time. You fix your gaze on an eye-level spot on a wall, speak a complete thought.
And on a final word, accurately throw a ball at the target.
Right. You only break eye contact briefly to catch the rebound, then immediately reestablish focus on the target for the next thought.
So it physically trains you to maintain focus on the other person, represented by the target.
And practice intentional gaze. It's essential for connecting during a presentation or conversation.
What about virtually? That's tricky.
It is. It adds a layer. You have to train yourself to look at the little video box near your camera lens to simulate eye contact with the people on screen.
Takes practice.
Definitely. And transparency helps there too. If you genuinely need to look away to pull up a document, just say so. Hang on, let me just find that.
Good point. Finally, physical presence. This covers posture, stance, gestures.
The whole package. The overarching goal is to free up your physical communication instrument to be used intentionally.
Posture isn't static. It's use in activity. We often lose our natural balanced posture.
Gravity, sitting, habits. Think about how naturally kids can squat compared to most adults. We lose that ease.
So posture drills help you find your body's natural alignment, your good use.
Right. The crown drill, standing regally, or the book on head drill, help you feel your full height and balance.
Visualizations help too, like your head is a helium balloon.
Yeah, or feeling your sits bones anchor your torso, releasing tension in your jaw, gut, and butt, melting your shoulders with imaginary sandbags, finding that release.
These help you discover that aligned, balanced state. The challenge is noticing when habits pull you back out of it.
Especially when sitting. Anchoring onto your sits bones is key there, and the book notes humans naturally tend to stand upright when focused on others.
Interesting. Okay, what about stance and movement? Nervous pacing.
Yeah, pacing or shifting weight is often just a nervous stick that undermines your presence.
But intentional movement can help.
Definitely. Like a speaker physically moving to a new spot to signal a transition to a new idea, that actually aids clarity.
So the drills focus on stillness and purpose.
Exactly. Wooden pegs, tapping imaginary pegs into the floor to keep your feet still, then consciously prying them up to move intentionally.
Or the shoe exercise.
Standing on placed shoes while speaking forces you to stay rooted or move deliberately to a new pair. teaches you to be still when appropriate.
How do you use that in performance?
You can use visual reminders, like actually placing your shoes where you plan to stand or outlining positions beforehand, even just remembering the feeling.
The book mentions a rapid transit drill, holding onto a pole on a moving train.
Yeah. Great practice for finding your balance and stability under pressure.
There was a story about someone named Nancy.
Right, Nancy. Her nervous weight shifting and hair smoothing weren't just distracting, they were physical habits that actually restricted her breathing and made her blush. Freeing up those physical habits was key to improving her overall presence.
Wow. Okay, last part of presence. Gestures. The source pushes back against generic advice.
Totally. Don't make distracting gestures or using those prescribed command gestures or zones. They often feel fake.
Because gestures are innate. They come from a need to ensure understanding.
Exactly. Trying to paste on generic gestures feels inauthentic. The true source of powerful, authentic gestures, according to the book, is you and your connection to the audience.
How do you find your natural gestures?
Remember that silent storytelling drill we talked about for vocal variety?
Yeah.
Watch the video recording of yourself doing that again. You'll likely see your natural expressive gestures. They might be a bit over the top for performance.
But they reveal the natural expansive range you actually have.
Exactly. Other drills help unlock that physical freedom too. Ball throwing again, this time throwing away from your body, helps free up arm movement.
The pufferfish drill. Holding something.
Yeah, holding an object or a resistance band helps prevent you from clasping your hands together.
Why is clasping bad?
It's a habit that, like Nancy's shifting, can lock up your whole body, inhibiting breath, stance, voice, everything. This drill helps break that.
So the goal is allowing your natural expressive movement, even in a virtual frame.
Right. You adapt the technology, maybe shift your webcam or physical position rather than restricting your natural communication because of the screen. Be free.
Okay, the book also applies these physical principles to handling common pitfalls.
Yeah.
Like nerves.
Yeah, crucial point. Nerves aren't the villain. Your judgment of your nerves is.
Don't try to eliminate them. That just triggers thought suppression again.
Exactly. Instead, find a physical tool to focus on. Give your brain something else to do.
Like grounding your feet or executing a deliberate gesture.
Or focusing intensely on crisp enunciation, like the singer at Carnegie Hall did to navigate her intense nerves. Give your body a concrete physical task to focus on instead of worrying about feeling nervous.
And finding an on-ramp can help too.
Yeah, ease into challenging situations. If standing presentations are terrifying, maybe start seated and transition to standing later. You can even explain why.
Or if presenting feels overwhelming, maybe start by taking audience questions first. Get into the flow of discussion before launching into prepared material.
Good strategies. What about mistakes? We all make them.
The advice is simple but powerful. Don't hide them. Use transparency.
Or just own it.
Yeah. The book suggests using phrases like, let me clarify that, or actually what I mean is...
And there's a drill for this too, the water cards drill.
Sounds messy. You literally spill water, say the transparency phrase like, whoops, let me just clean that up, or hang on, let me rephrase that, and then immediately continue.
It forces you to practice acknowledging and moving past errors without getting flustered.
Right. This frees up your brain to focus on what to say next, rather than being stuck dwelling on the mistake or trying awkwardly to hide it.
Transparency is also super helpful in virtual settings, as we mentioned. Managing expectations. Just a moment while I pull up that document.
Makes total sense. So pulling it all together requires dedicated practice.
Absolutely, as we've emphasized. And the book warns against trying to work on too many things at once.
Leads to generalization, right?
Yeah.
Not real change.
Exactly. Instead, identify your top 1-3 key areas for improvement. Ask yourself, what's the single most impactful drill you learned from this discussion? What's the second? Which ones will you actually integrate into your routine?
Be realistic and seek varied opportunities to practice.
Low, medium, high stakes situations, professional and social settings, different audiences, mix it up.
Use reminders, alarms, sticky notes.
Sticky notes in unexpected places, architectural features you see daily, even practicing during your commute, and accountability partners are great.
Whether a friend or just your self-recording habit.
Yep, incredibly helpful.
Looking ahead, the book ends with a really provocative thought about the potential impact of AI on communication.
Oh yeah, this was fascinating.
Yeah.
The idea is, if AI can generate perfect content instantaneously,
Maybe even delivered right into your ear through an implant or something.
then what becomes the true differentiator in communication?
It has to be the delivery, right? The human element.
Exactly. The person who can take that AI-generated perfect content and deliver it convincingly, embodying it with presence and authenticity, they'll be the one who stands out.
So how will humans react? The book speculates.
Will we instinctively develop unique physical or vocal tells to prove we aren't AI?
Or will the uniquely human, embodied experience of in-person oratory become even more valued because it's harder to fake?
It's fascinating to speculate on, and it really underlines the book's core premise. Regardless of where the words come from, the human element of delivery is becoming increasingly important.
So, to synthesize the core message from this deep dive, communication is fundamentally physical.
Yeah, deeply physical. Trying to improve it just by thinking about it or focusing on negatives. Don't do this, don't do that.
It's often ineffective because it triggers thought suppression and ignores the physical reality.
Instead, by focusing on how you speak through specific kinesthetic drills, treating your body as your instrument, and practicing physically.
You could unlock powerful improvements in your delivery.
And this improved delivery doesn't just make you sound better, it actually helps you think more clearly, choose better words.
Strengthens your content and significantly boosts your confidence. It's all connected.
You can get better, often faster and more dramatically than you might think, by focusing on the right things and putting in the physical practice.
The source leaves us with an empowering thought. You have something important to say.
Absolutely. These tools are here to help you say it clearly, powerfully, and persuasively. The world needs your voice, delivered effectively.
And building on that, especially considering that potential AI future where perfect content might be readily available to everyone.
If AI makes having the right words easy, what unique value do you bring to a conversation?
It's likely less about what you know anymore and more about the uniquely human, embodied way you connect and share that knowledge. Your presence, your delivery.
Or, a final thought to mull over, if AI even learns to mimic delivery perfectly someday, what unmimicable physical or vocal tells might define authentic human connection in the future? What makes us truly recognizably human when we communicate?
Wow, something to ponder. For now, though, the practical step.
Yeah.
What's the one key takeaway or drill from this deep dive that you will commit to practicing this week?
Find that one thing and just start doing it. That's how change begins.